Hello, Ezemy one, and welcome back to Rat Run. I'm your usual everyday time posting rat girl, Ezemy Jika, and today I'll be solving Rat Run 18 Mirror Maze. Experiment 18, Green, 11th of December, 1974. Elliot spent the whole evening at his desk scribbling away in his Phase 3 notebook that he keeps locked away in the bottom drawer. I have no idea how he expects me to keep on preparing these mazes when he remains so secretive about the overall plan. When the come times to construct the big one, I'll need to... Well, I'm sure he'll figure it out one way or another. He probably has your best interests at heart when keeping secrets from the collaborative effort that you were trying to make, right? Rules. Normal Sudoku rules apply. In the experiment, wrapped cupcake, diagonals, we know that. Teleports. Entering a teleport will teleport things, and digits. Teleports have the same digits. We've seen these enough times that that's pretty standard. Mirror cells. Each row, column, and box contains exactly one mirror cell. Mirror cells may not contain teleports. The value of a mirror cell equals the digit in that cell subtracted from 10. For example, a 2 in a mirror cell is mirrored on the 1 to 9 scale and has a value of 8. Every mirror cell contains a different digit. So that is quite an interesting modifier, which I will go over in more detail in a minute. Test constraint. In this experiment, the values of any two physically adjacent cells along the path, i.e. not separated by teleportation, must have a difference of at least 5. So this is a proper German whisper line, which I said we had gone over before, like with the grapes, but I didn't really go over them in too much detail because it was just a single thing, and I thought I had gone over them before, but that was just Dutch whispers. So let's take a slightly closer look at them and the way they interact with these mirror modifier cells. So the first digit to focus on for a German whisper is the digit 5, which cannot be next to any cell because 5 is only 5 away from 0, and 10, which are both not valid. So 5 sits down here, isolated and sad, away from everyone else. It will never be able to appear on the line, and its mirror counterpart, which is 10 minus whatever it is also 5. So even if it's mirrored, it cannot appear on the line anywhere. The first digits we should look at are 4 and 6, and they are only 5 away from a single valid cell, 1 and 9, respectively. Now 1 is also a valid distance away from 9, and 9 is also a valid distance away from 3 and 2. And if we go 9, 8, and 7, a 7 can go to a 2, an 8 can go to a 3, 7 and 8 can also go next to 1. So there is a single path that connects all of these at the same time, and that path is something like this. Whoops, I forgot a line here. Because 8 and 2 is also valid. Whoops. So just in case, we have a line segment that is 8 cells consecutively. It might look something like this. But for our mirror cells, we have 1 and 9, 6 and 4, 7 and 3, 8 and 2, 9 and 1, 4 and 6, 3 and 7. With all of that sort of put together, I don't know if I'll actually use this for anything, but it exists now. We already know all the rules, so let's just get started. First thing to note is that the line has to come down to here at the very least. If it goes down, it will, whoops, if it continues going down, it will have to go around this cell because that would have to be the 5 that's left out of this box and column, which looks like a pretty interesting constraint, but we don't know for certain that it does that. Let's try and see if we can disprove it goes this way first. This is a very interesting grid because it has some very dense mazes up in this corner, but this section of the grid is pretty open. Very, very interesting juxtaposition of these two halves of the puzzle. One thing we do know for sure is that it cannot go into the A teleporter because once it comes out, it won't have any way to reach the cupcake. So it either comes in through here and goes to the cupcake, or it comes out of the A teleporter and goes to the cupcake. It can't visit all 9 cells in a box because then it would have to touch a 5, which won't work. So if it goes this way, it can't go this way. And if it goes this way, it would have to touch all 9 cells in this row, which also won't work. So we can determine that it does not go this way first. Meaning it has to go through here, putting a 5 here. And we also know that there has to be a mirror cell somewhere in this column and in this box. It could be this 5, but it might not be. If it isn't this 5, that means we do have 8 cells in a row that don't repeat. And if you'll notice, on our illustration, we have our 4 high digits and our 4 low digits that the perfect line has to alternate between. However, if we mirror one of the high digits, it will become a low digit, and then it will become imbalanced, meaning that we won't be able to create the line, because there will be 5 of one parity and 3 of the others, which is impossible to create a perfect line from. So I think that does mean that this 5 has to be our first mirror cell. Pulling mirrors out of all of these cells. Let's make the non-mirrored cells orange. That's a bit too bright, I think. How about green? Or yellow? Yellow's nice, actually. So these have to be... It has to follow the line in some order, but we know that this digit, it has to start and end with the digits 4 and 6 in some order. But because this one is the larger one, this has to be the 6, and this is the 4. So it goes 4, 9, 3, 8, 2, 7, 1, 6. And because 4 can normally only go next to 9, this would have to be a 9, but it can't be a 9 because we already have a 9 there, so this has to be a mirrored 1. Pulling mirror cells out of all of these and disallowing another mirrored 1. So this is actually a 1, meaning these are the remaining low digits. Vanilla low digits even. They're 1, 2, and 4. This one has to be the 1. Whoops. This one has to be the 1 because we've used the 1 here. And this one can't be a 4 because these would have to be vanilla 9. So that's a 4, that's a 9, that's a 2. These are 7 and 8. No, 6 and 7 in some order. This one can't be 6 because 6 and 2 are only 4 apart. Putting a 6 here. Now, these 5 digits are 3, 5, 6, 7, and 8. These can't be 6 or 7, meaning these two are 6 and 7. These 3 digits are 3, 5, 8, and these 3 are 2, 4, 9. This is not 9. This is not 2. This can't be a 9 either. This one has to be a 9. And what's greater than 2 or 4? All of these digits. Now, one of these 3 will be mirrored, but if the path doesn't go up here, it... Actually... It does say the one-way doors. I guess I skipped over those in the rules. Whoops. But, they are inequalities, and they mark the direction that the path has to move in. If this is a mirrored 2, this could still be a 2. And this could be a mirrored 9. Because it is the value of the cell, which includes its mirroring, that matters. So these 3 digits have to be in ascending order. So these are 3, 5, and 8. Putting a 5 onto the other teleporter A. I guess we don't need to color in the teleporter cells because they can't be mirrored anyways. So I'll leave those alone so they're easier to see. 6 and 8 are not a valid German whisper combination, so the path has to come out to here. This is a vanilla cell, meaning it is a 1. The digit on the B teleporter is extremely constrained, actually. It can be 6, 7, or 9. I suppose that isn't actually that constrained. Ah, and teleporter teleporter A can never be visited. So that means the path has to go all the way around here and through here. It could go around the top or the bottom. Cannot visit this teleporter either, meaning it has to come in from here somewhere. Or somehow, rather. 3 could connect to a mirrored 2 or a vanilla 9, but either way, not a 4. Well, actually, if this is a vanilla 9, then it's the inequality breaks because the 3 has to be next to a high value digit, and it can't be the 9, so it has to be the mirrored 2, which is actually an 8, putting a 9 here and a 4, vanilla 4 there, pulling a 3 out of this cell. This 2 needs to be next to a high digit of 8 or 9. This 3 could be next to another mirror. This could be next to another mirrored cell, so we can't really determine what it is. Either way, these 2 are vanilla cells, and since the path cannot move diagonally in any of these spaces, we know the parity as well. It goes low, wait, no, this is actually an 8, so this has to be a low digit. In fact, it is a 3. 8, 5, and 3 here. Low. This has to be a high digit. This has to have a high value. Low, high, low. This can be 1 or 4, and this has to be a high digit of 6 or 9. And it doesn't matter if it goes across over the top or along the bottom. The parity will stay the same. It will be low, high, low, high, low, or low, high, low, high, low, high, low. Actually, wait. Low, high, low. Yes, this inequality will work because this would be the high digit and this would be the low digit. Let's see, there has to be a 5 somewhere in this row. It cannot be here. So the 5 is going to block the unused path. There has to be a 3 up here because of these 3s. This 3 can only be next to a digit of value 8 or 9. However, we've already used the mirrored 1 and 2, which are the mirror 8 and 9. So this has to be a vanilla 8. 8 can be next to values 1, 2, or 3. And we haven't used any of the mirror 7, 8, or 9 yet. Well, it can't be next to a mirrored 8 because it is an 8. So it could be next to a mirror 7. It could be next to a vanilla 2 in this row. This 1 is extremely unconstrained because it can be next to any high digits and it can even move diagonally. And we really don't have anything that's constraining that at all. Let's see what digits can go here. They can be 3, 5, or 9. That's actually pretty constrained. Well, actually, no, they can't be 5 because we already have a 5 teleporter. What else are we missing in this row? Well, I think it's just 1, 4, 6, and 9, isn't it? This cannot be a 4 Yes, if this is a 4, it can only be next to 9s. We've already used the mirror 9, so they have to be next to vanilla 9s. Putting one here, potentially here, but there's already one being seen here. And if there's one here, it would see both of those. So this has to be the 1, meaning the path has to come from a different high digit. Um, these could just as easily be 6 and 9, which doesn't really help. There also has to be a 1 up here then, which means that the path and the 1, it could be a mirror 3. Could be a mirror 3. It can't be a mirror 1, which I think means it's a mirror 3, which is which has a value of 7, then I think that's actually still fine. Oh wait, duh, we have an 8 up here. So these are a 1, 3, 8 triple. Because we have 1, 3, and 8 here, we have 1, 3, and 8 here, putting a 1, 3, and 8 into that box. Let's see. So these are 2, 7, and 9. These two digits, which means this can't be a 9. Interesting. These are 4, 5, and 6, including this one. So 1, 3, and 8. We can't have a mirror 8, actually, because that would mean that the values are 1, 2, and 3, and that won't work for the path. If this is a mirror 3, then it could be 3, 8, no, 3, 1, 8. The 1 could go in the middle. The 3 cannot go in the middle. The 1 could go in the middle if it's a mirror 3. The 8 can go in the middle if they're all vanilla cells, but the 3 cannot go in the middle. But we can't assume that there will be a mirror cell here anyway. This connection, well, actually both of these connections. This path is impassable because 4, 5, and 6 mirror onto, well, 4, 5, and 6, and none of those can connect to an 8. So the path has to go around this way, meaning the 5 is here. This has to be the 6 and the 4. These have to be vanilla cells, putting vanilla cells here and a mirror here and here. Now, if you look at these three digits, 2, 7, and 9, and we look at the path, we have two high digits here, meaning this has to be a high digit, and these two have to be low digits, meaning we're going to have a mirrored 7 or 9. This has to be a vanilla high digit, and one of these two has to be the mirrored high digit. The mirrored 7, in fact, I think it has to be the mirrored 9 in this position, because a 6 can only be next to a digit with a value of 1. Putting 3s onto this teleporter C. These 3 are vanilla digits, putting the 8 in the middle. The 1 and the 3 can go on either side. These 3 digits are 2, 4, and 7. This has to connect to a high digit. It could technically still be a mirror 4 if it is a 1 here. But because of the parity here, we have a low digit here, a high digit here, but we also have a high digit here, meaning it has to visit this cell to fix the parity. And this would have to be a low value digit. It cannot be the 4, because that can only be next to digits with a value of 9. I don't think it can be the 7 either, because if this digit is a mirrored 7, then this would have to be a vanilla 7, so that doesn't work. This has to be a vanilla 2. And I think, again, this can't be the 4. This has to be a vanilla 7. Putting a 9 here and a 6 here because a 2 can't go next to a 6. Putting a 1 here and a 3 here. That means this is the mirror 4, which is ignored. So that's the beginning and the end of the path sorted. Now we just have to do... see, we did the constrained section of the puzzle, and now we do the unconstrained section. So, first thing we can do is... I guess we can look at this value. It has to be a high value. It needs to be an 8 or a 9. We've used the 8 or the 9, so it needs to be a vanilla 8 or 9. It has to be a vanilla 9. Vanilla 9, in fact. And a vanilla 9 can connect to any low digit from 1 to 4. We look into this box. We have 9s in these two columns, putting a 9 here. And the last 9 goes in one of these. Last two 9s go in these cells. The last two 3s go in these cells. I think I figured that out before. Yes. So this one could just connect to this 9. I guess this will probably be a game of writing down all the possibilities and seeing what works. So the digits in this row are 2, 3, 7, and 8. Those 3 out of here. 7, 2, and 8. So those are some pencil marks. These 4 digits are 4, 5, 6, and 7. Right, maybe it's worth looking at where the 5s can go. Speaking of, this one has to be a 5. Has to be a vanilla cell because we've already used the mirror 5. Not that it did anything. There has to be a 5 down here somewhere. There has to be a 5. In one of these 2 cells, one of these 4 cells. So that doesn't really help us. This 5 does mean that the path cannot go through here. Kind of interesting, but I don't know if it actually helps. Well, let's just look at these columns. This one can contain 2, 4, 7, and 8. Oh, I guess that's a naked single. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Cool. Puts a 4 here, which in turn puts a 4 into this cell, which might narrow down where the 4 goes. Yes, in this box it goes here because it cannot go on the teleporter, and the final 4 goes here. And we've already used the mirrored 4s, so these all have to be vanilla 4s. Oh, and we can eliminate this column. Well, both of these columns, actually. Whoops. Because there's mirror cells in them. And that means there's a mirror cell here. And 3 of the 3 remaining mirror cells have to go into this cell. So what are our remaining mirror values? We have 3, 6, 7, and 8. So this has to be a mirrored 6 or 8, which would be a 4 or a 2. Both of which would be valid for connecting to this 9, but I've just noticed that there is a 6 and 7 pair in this row, putting an 8 here, and the remaining digit, which is a 1, in this row. So in this box, we are missing 1, 2, 7, and 6. Oh, I guess, yeah, there's a 1 here. And there's 1, 2, 7. No, 6, 2, 6, 7 here. If we visit this 4, it needs to go to a digit with a value of 9, which there are none around here. So it has to visit this mirrored 8, which is actually a 2. And from the 2, it has to go to a high digit. The only high digit nearby is this 7. I'm putting 6s onto the pink teleporter. Well, purple. 5 and 7 here. This digit is 6. Yes. So this cannot be the mirror cell because we've used a 5. So this one has to be that. The 7 mirror. The 7 has to connect to a low digit of 1 or a 2. There's only a 1 here, and the 1 cannot connect to a high digit, but we've used all of the ones in this box, so it has to connect to this 6, meaning we have to go up into teleporter B somehow. This 1 has to connect to a high digit, and the 7 is actually a 3, so it can't connect to that. These 3 digits are 2, 3, and 8. That's a 3. These 3 digits are 5, 7, and 9. That's a 5. That's a 7, 9, 7, 9. These 2 digits are, whoops, 1 and 6. And we have a mirrored 1 already, so these are the vanilla cells, and these are the mirror cells. And that's all of our mirror cells. These digits are, what, 2, 3, and 8? Yeah, I guess. Yeah, this is a 3, and these 2 and 8s are all... I'm missing a digit. What am I missing? 4. Not 4? Not 4. 5. So this one's a 5, that's a 3. This 2 and 8 pattern is ambiguous. And it is impossible to disambiguate without following the path. We have to wind through this area and get to the 1, or get to the purple portal. 6 can only connect to a 1. This 1 can connect to a high digit. It could be this 3, which is actually a 7. Or it could connect to this 8. Down here, we have to connect to one of these. Well, if it connects to the 6, it has to go to a 1, a value of 1, which is impossible. So it has to go to here, and from there it has to visit a low digit, which will have to be the 2 in one of these 2 cells. This cell is impossible to visit, as are these. It might have to... Well, it could go from here to here. It could go from 7 to 2, if that's a 2, and then to this 7. But from that 7, where does it go? It would have to go to a 1 or a 2, and if there's a 1 down here, then there's nowhere for it to go. So it has to go from this 9 to this 3, and from this 3 it has to go to an 8 or a 9. The 9 is down here, so I think this has to be an 8. Putting a 2 here for the 9 to connect. 2, 8, 2, 8, 2. And this 9 would connect to this 2, and then to this 7, and then to this 1. And that, I believe, is the full path as well as the solve. Yippee! Thankfully, the teleport that Finks used today behaved perfectly with no overheating problems at all. Whew! With any luck, Elliot has fixed whatever was causing the issues. Finks seemed very interested in the mirror cells, stopping to investigate her own reflection at each one she came to, sometimes pawing at the glass. There's definitely something on her mind, and next week we aim to find out what it was. Is she finally learning that she has a self? Visits quite a few of these mirror cells, actually. 5 of the 9 of them, which is more than half. Anyways, join me next time for Rat Run 19, Brainwaves. Until then, mo sono giga desho. O Ezemy.